Hi, in today's video I'm going to be covering multicasting internet video streams. What is multicasting? It's where you take a video stream or audio stream and you send it to a special address on your network called a multicast address. And what this allows you to do is it allows all the devices on your network to tune into that address and watch the stream. So the advantage of this is rather than sending individual streams to all the devices on your network, which would use a lot of bandwidth, what multicasting allows you to do is actually take a stream, send it to this special address, and it's only using bandwidth once, and then all the devices on your network can tune in. And what we're going to be doing is using yt-dlp to restream internet streams to this multicast address on your network, which will effectively allow you to create your own sort of home TV station, as it were. So this is the supported sites section of yt-dlp, and you can see there are hundreds of sites here. So this is going to work on all of these sites here, okay, all the way down there. So first of all, what I'm going to do is actually give you a quick rundown of the actual script. So this is the script. We have script usage. We've got the error messages. Check the number of arguments passed to the script. So if you don't pass any arguments to the script, it's just going to display the help message. Then what we have here is the options that you can use. At the moment, we've got -i for the URL and then -h to display the help. So what we got down here next is yt-dlp, and what this is basically doing is getting the best format. Now the other issue is there are some video sites that use what are called dash streaming, and what this does is this actually has a separate audio and video stream. So typically when you open a stream, it's just going to be one link. It's going to be a video container with the audio and video inside it. Dash streams are different in that they have separate audio and video streams. So what we need to do is actually check if the stream is a single stream containing audio and video or two separate streams. Now, the way we're actually going to be doing that is very simple, using a command called wc, which is word count, and what it can do is actually count the number of lines in a file. So if there's only one line in the file, we know that the URL is basically containing video and audio stream in one. If there are two lines, basically that means there's two video, there's a separate audio and video stream. So what we're going to do is actually have two functions here, one for one stream and another one for two streams. So we've got one stream, and what this is for streams that contain audio and video in a single stream. And what you'll see here is we're just using ffmpeg. We hide the banner. We use re, which basically means read this at normal playback speed. Because we don't want it to be streaming super fast, because then it's not going to play properly. So we use the re option. Then we use the URL. So that's the URL here. And then all we're doing is we're specifying codec audio copy, codec video copy. So what it's actually doing is it's just taking the existing audio and video streams and restreaming them. So there's no crunching of codecs and stuff taxing your computer. You can use this on a low powered computer, even like a Raspberry Pi, because it's not actually doing any transcoding. It's just taking the audio and video streams and restreaming them. And what we're doing is we're using this tune zerolatency option, which reduces the latency on the network so that the stream will kick in faster. And this is the option that we use. We have to specify format mpeg ts, and then we're sending it to this UDP address here, UDP 239.254.254.4:1234 packet size 1316. So that's the first thing, is one stream, and then we've got two streams here. So what we've got down here, we've got a little case statement, and what it does is basically this checks if the output contains one line or two lines. If it's one line, it's a single stream. If it's two lines, it's a separate audio and video stream. And then we run the appropriate function. So if there are two streams, we're going to run this bit of code up here. And what this does is this grabs the first line and sets it as the video URL. And it grabs the second line and sets it as the audio URL. As I said, Dash have separate audio and video URLs. Then again, we're using ffmpeg, and what we're doing is we're providing with two inputs here, video input and an audio input. Again, we're copying codecs, and the special bit down here is the mapping. So map 0, 0 and map 1, 0. So 0 is the video stream and 1 is the audio stream, and we're basically taking these two separate streams, putting them together, and then sending them to this multicast address. That's the script. So what I'm going to do now is actually show you this in action. So what I'm going to do is come across to the desktop, and I'm going to use a second machine to send the multicast stream, send the stream to the multicast address, and then tune into it on this stream. So what we need to do is there's two ways of actually playing this. We can either specify the URL on the command line, or we could alternatively we could put the URL in a m3u file, for example. We could create a file called multicast.m3u and put the stream in there. So I'll demo both ways. So first of all, this is the address that we're going to be using, and there are various multicast addresses, so you can use like 239.0.0.1, but what I found is using something other than this would actually cause the audio and video to go out of sync, which is no good. So what I'm going to be doing is running this command on the command line, mcyt-i and the URL, and I'm going to be running this on the second machine. Okay, so mpv udp colon udp p alpha. Right, 239.254.254.4 colon 124. And you're thinking, how am I going to remember that? Just think that it's Beyonce's phone number and it's bound to stick. So I'm going to start the stream on the second machine, wait for that to kick in. Okay, it's kicked in. I'm going to press return, and this should kick in about 2 seconds, hopefully. There we go. Now this is a public domain video. This is, the copyright is expired, so that's why I'm using it. And as you can see, it's streaming, so melodies. So I'll just stop that, but you get the gist. So what I'm going to do is I'll pick another video here, and what I'll do is use Big Buck Bunny. Okay, so mcyt-i single quotes the URL. Press return. Going to take a second or two to actually kick in. There we go, started there, and as you can see, it's basically instant. It's going to kick in about 2 seconds. So I stop it again, it's streaming. 1. So that's why we use the zero latency option with the copying the audio and video codec. So rather than taking the stream and converting it to H.264 AAC and specifying a bit rate, all that kind of stuff, that's going to take longer for it to actually process and be available on the network. Since these are all internet streams already, they're going to be H.264 AAC, so we don't need to do anything. We just basically take the link and we're sending it to this multicast address and effectively creating a your own TV channel at home. So let's do that again. wait for it to kick in. It's going to take a second to kick in. The other end. Go. No issues there. Stop that. So again, what we can also do is create a M3U file with this URL in it. So let's do that. So desktop multicast.m3u UDP, remember 239.254.254.4 colon 1234. Okay, UDP colon / 239.254.254.4 colon 123. Right, let's switch back to here. Let's start the stream again, and it should. Or wait for it to kick in the other end. Okay, okay, right. That's something that I wanted to mention with MPV player, is that it can throw a wobbly on M3U files. You can see here, refusing to load potentially unsafe URL from playlist. Use the load unsafe playlist options to load it anyway. And that's because you can actually put lots of stuff in a M3U playlist that does naughty things. So let's do this again. -- load safe playlist. Okay, try that again. Always good to show actual errors. So just wait for it to kick in the other end. Here we go. And as you can see, after we've added that option, it's playing fine. So the advantage of that is that you know, you don't have to type the address out. We should get auto completion on this option. So MPV load, yeah, unsafe playlists. So you don't have to actually, you know, go -- what is it, load, you know, try and remember it. Just do tab, load, tab, unsafe playlists, multicast stream. Set it on the second machine. It takes a second to actually kick in and get the thing loading. And you can see there, instant. So that's MPV. VLC, which I don't actually have on this machine, has a slightly different syntax for the URLs. So I believe in MPV, what you've got to do is actually specify an @ in UDP URL. I think it's UDP colon / @ 239.254.254.4 colon 1.4. So that's the difference between MPV and VLC. So what I'm going to do now is actually switch across to Kodi. So okay, here we go, Kodi. Right, and what we've got here, if I come into the files, I'll find a thing. Yeah, okay, so what I've done is I've created a text file with a .strm extension with the multicast URL in it. And what this will allow us to do is basically play the stream from within Kodi. So I'm going to multicast Big Buck Bunny again. I'm going to come down here, and I have my setup to launch MPV as a default player. So I'm going to press C on the keyboard, play using, and I'm going to use the built-in player here. And as you can see, we've got Big Buck Bunny on Kodi. Okay, so let me also do that by using an external player, so that should also work. So I'm going to restream that again. And I think I've got this set up to open in MPV. Yep, there we go, MPV. So I've got MPV set as a external video player for internet streams on Kodi, which I showed you in a previous video how to do, but I'll give you a little recap. So Kodi user player core factory XML, and what I've got up here is a player called MPV that is defined, and in the bottom down here what I have is this section like rules action overwrite rule internet stream equals true player equals MPV. So you can see I've got MPV defined as the player up here, and at the bottom internet streams equals true player equals MPV. And basically what that does is any internet stream link that I click on in Kodi is automatically going to open in MPV. The reason for that is that allows me to add YouTube links to strm files, and then when I click on them in Kodi, it's going to automatically open in MPV and play the video. The reason for that is that Kodi doesn't support YouTube links without the YouTube add-on, and that requires you to create your own key to actually use it from your Google account, which is a pain in the arse. And I'm not going to do that, so that's why I set MPV as the external player. But as you can see, it could play in either the built-in Kodi player or MPV. So let's pick another. Okay, let's find it. Oh, some Betty Boop. Okay, so we've got Betty Boop here, an old video. So let's do that one, yt, and I'm doing all these from archive.org, so they're all public domain, copyright expired, that sort of thing. Wait for this to kick in. Just would you? Yep. Right. Okay. And so you're playing in the built-in. Oh, so you playing in the built-in player by mistake. Here we go. Boop, poor Cinderella. I'll set it to play in the default player. Kodi. Multicast stream loading up. Go. Click that. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to seek back and forth in the video, okay, while you're streaming, because you're streaming it live. So you could, if you like, going into the future, and obviously you can't do that without a flux capacitor. So what I'm going to do now is actually cover another issue, and that is the firewall. So let me just click Kodi here. So right, let's come back. Okay, SKIV -T-I. Okay, so the multicast stream can be blocked by your firewall, and you actually specifically need to enable access for multicast streams on your firewall. Now, I was using GUFW, which is a graphical interface to the UF and the uncomplicated firewall. And one note is that what I found is it uses policy kit and dbus, and so it actually won't even launch properly when I'm running xmonad. I've actually got to switch back across to GNOME to get this to work. I could use UFW on the command line, but I just wanted to use easy to use GUI. So what we've got here is the actual rules. Let me just go to the next one. What we need to do is let me go back to the previous one. You can see down the bottom left, if you see down the bottom left of this picture, it's got a little plus button just above where it says rules deleted. What you need to do is click that little that plus button, and that's going to bring up this window, and the first tab says pre-configured. And what you need to do is select allow direction in, category audio video, and then application VLC UDP stream. Once you've done that and click to add, what you'll see here is added these two rules, 1, 2, 3, 4 UDP allow in anywhere, VLC UDP stream and it's also added one for IPv6. So you actually need to enable multicast access in your firewall. So it's going to be slightly different on every firewall. So not working, turn the firewall off, check it, and then you'll find it's working. And then you'll actually have to do a bit of digging to actually enable the firewall so that the multicast stream can actually be received. So that's just a small note. If it's not working for you, and you will need to, it differs whether you're using, IP tables, or the uncomplicated firewall. But the uncomplicated firewall GUFW by default will block multicast streams. It's not the outgoing that's the issue that's blocked. It's the incoming. We actually have to allow incoming to be able to receive the stream. So that's just a note. And again, to actually stream stuff on the command line, we just run mcyt, so that's multicast yt. Run it with the -h option. It's going to display the help. So mcyt -i and then the URL yt I URL in single quotes. Okay, and that's basically going to stream it. And then all you have to do is to be able to receive it in your player is use the correct address, which again, Beyonce's phone number, MPV, not really. UDP, what is it? 239.254.254.4:124. And that's how we receive the stream. And let me see if I can find something else. Let's find Night of the Living Dead and stream that. So archive.org, Night of the Living Dead. Okay. And the other issue is that if it's not working for you, because we're just copying the audio and video streams, we're assuming they're going to be H.264 AAC, something that can actually be streamed. If you find like an old video on archive.org, for example, and it's in a format that can't be streamed, and you try and stream it, it's going to fail. So just something to bear in mind there. So I'm just going to copy the H.264 stream for Night of the Living Dead, and then run mcyt-i URL. Done. It's going to take a second or two to actually get the URL. So archive.org tends to be a bit slow sometimes. So it's actually taking a minute to actually kick in with this link. So I've obviously picked a link that's really slow and got really slow bandwidth here. Right, okay, now it's working. I may have picked a link that's not streamable. Oh, there we go. So that's just something to bear in mind. There is, network issues. It's going to take a second to actually grab the URL. So I'll just quit that. So it's going to take a second to actually kick in, pass everything off to ffmpeg, and then start streaming it. So it's totally dependent on the speed of the website, on how fast it actually delivers the video. If you've got something with a really slow connection, and obviously it's going to take longer. So let's have a look back at this. MCYT again. So hopefully this should make a bit more sense to you. And what I'll do is I'll just actually come across scratch buffer. So what I wanted to explain was that you have regular streams, like HTTP, example video.mp4. So that'd be like a regular with the colon // that'd be like a regular URL with a single stream that has the audio and video inside it. Then what you also have is dash streams. So it'd be something like M4A. So in dash streams that are used on certain big websites that have a Y and a T in them, they have separate audio and video streams. And so what happens is when you get the URL, it will have two lines separated by a line break, where you will have the video stream and then the audio stream. Was it M4A? It's M4A, I think. It's M4A. And then you'll have the audio stream on a second line. So what the script does is say here what we've got is the actual script usage. And we've got the error messages, we've got the checking, we've got the options that I showed you, and this is what actually makes it work. So first of all, the URL here is equal to this in file comes from up here. So you can see here in file equals opt arg. What that basically means is this is the options argument. So -I is the option, and the argument to that option is the URL. So when you specify -I, single quotes in the URL, whatever is after -I is going to be equal to this variable in file. Okay. So what we then do is we use yt-dlp with the format B option here, not best B, because if you run best, what it's actually going to do is actually going to throw you a error message saying, by default it's sort of checks for best. So we use the -B option to suppress that instead of running best. And the -G option actually gets the URL, and then we specify no playlist because we may be playing a video that's in a playlist and we just want to play the individual URL, not the whole playlist. Now this is the thing that makes it work, the stream count. We echo the URL into WC. So let me just come back, and we've got scratch. Okay. Let's just call it test.txt. Paste that in. So hang on a sec. Right. At test.txt wc-l. Okay, so what you can see there is I've catted this text. Okay, so this is a example of a file that's containing dash stream with the video and the audio here. And as you can see, when I cat that file into WCL, into WC with the -L option, it's saying there's two lines. So I know that because there's two lines, I know that it's a dash stream with a separate audio and video stream. Whereas if I just come back here and do the same thing again, you can see it's now just got one line. So that's how I can tell whether the video contains one stream that has the audio and video or two streams with separate audio and video. And what we do then is the stream count variable contains the line number, so 1 or 2. Then what we have is a case statement. So we say if it's there's one line, we know that it's a stream with both audio and video. So we run the one stream function. If there are two streams, we're going to run the two stream functions, and if anything else, we're going to run the script usage. So one stream again, ffmpeg hide banner re. So this basically streams at a playable rate. Then we have -I, which is then the URL, codec audio copy, codec video copy, tune zero latency, and then format mpeg ts, and then we send it to this multicast address. And you can see here the difference between the sending and the receiving is on the sending, what we're actually doing is specifying our packet size as well, but we don't actually need to specify that when we're receiving the stream. So this is for one stream that contains both the audio and video. And then here what we've got two streams. So what we've got here is these two variables. What we're doing is we're echoing the URL into awk. And what we're doing is with awk, we're getting the first line, which is going to be the video URL. And then the second line here, you can see what it's doing is it's basically searching for these new line characters. Yeah. So if there's two lines, the first line is the video URL, the second line is the audio URL. Then what we do is we run ffmpeg with the RE option, and we're specifying two inputs with the -i flag, video URL, the audio URL, copy the audio and video codecs, tune zero latency, and this is the special bit here, map 0:0, map 1:0. So 00 is the first stream, which is the video, and 1 is the audio stream. So we're basically taking those two separate streams, we're combining them into one, and then we're sending them to the multicast address. So that's how we can deal with dash streams that are commonly used on the biggest video site on the planet, for Y and a T in it. So that's how we can multicast dash streams to our network. And again, the advantage of doing it this way is there's no encoding. We're not doing any video encoding, so you're not degrading the quality. You're not, altering the bit rate or anything. You don't need some computer churning stuff out. Might be an issue if it's a older computer. Just taking the audio and video streams, and we're just sending them to the multicast address. So it's more efficient because we don't have to do lots of work with ffmpeg. We're only sending one stream to this multicast address, so it saves on bandwidth. And again, you can now tune into these streams on any device on the network using a variety of players, either by specifying the URL on the command line or in an M3U file with something like MPV or VLC. If you're using Kodi, you can use the strm file. So again, the strm file, video, Kodi, movie, multicast. So again, for Kodi, they're simple. Just create a file called something like multicast.strm, put the URL in here, save it, put it in a Kodi share, something you can access with Kodi, start streaming, opening up, Bob's your uncle, away you go. So let's do that again. We've got it all set up. Kodi, start streaming, Night of the Living Dead, movies. I'm just going to wait for it actually to kick in, and I'll use the built-in player. So again, this link takes a second to kick in. Okay, and now press return, and it should kick in within a couple of seconds. It actually takes a bit longer for Kodi to fire up. There you go, you can see it's actually kicking in there. See the car moving, you can see things playing. So it's effectively just like you're streaming it. It's using the same amount of bandwidth as if you were just playing it on a regular connection, because we're just taking those streams that are on the internet and redirecting them to the multicast address. So let's come back and do the same deal again. So again, with MPV, we've got, just check that I didn't put the, okay, so this is the multicast.m3u. So remember the trick with MPV, if I try and play this, what's going to happen? It's going to throw an error, isn't it? It's going to say unsafe playlist. So I'm just going to start streaming again. Just takes a second with this particular video because it's big. Okay, so I'll play that. It's not going to kick in, is it? Okay, it's kicking in now. So maybe because I'd sort of oh yeah, that's because I'm doing it directly on the command line. Okay, so mpv multicast or mfu, refusing to load potentially unsafe URL from playlist, use the load unsafe playlist option to load it anyway. So mpv -- load tab unsafe playlist. So that's what you got to do if you're loading it from an M3U. Let's return. Give it a second or two. It's going to kick in. There we go. Right, living dead. Right, so I'll stop that. So again, that's MPV, and I think the difference with VLC is that the address looks like this: UDP / at 239.254.254.4 :1234. I think that's the difference between the VLC format for UDP streams versus pretty much every player. So very simple to use. All you got to do is mcyt-h for the help. Shows you there. All you got to do is run mcyt-i and give it a URL. mcyt-i, the URL. Please, with a real URL, so please don't put that in and say it doesn't work. But that's all you got to do on one machine, and then receive it. That's all you got to do. That's all there is to it. And again, the advantage of this is that basically it's going to work with loads of different kinds of players that will support it. You may also have, I'm not sure if VLC on the iPad can play UDP streams. So there might be some, you might have to play around with particular players on iOS or Android that support UDP. So that's just something that you'll have to look into. But basically the advantage of this is that what we can now do is stream any of these sites here. Any of the sites listed here that are supported sites, yt-dlp, we can actually multicast. So all these sites here, you can see some not safe for work ones coming up there. All those sites there, we can actually multicast stream to all the devices on our network. So those are the sites that you can actually use. And again, the one issue that you may come across again is the firewall -t-i. So again, it's going to depend on your firewall, but what I found is IP tables. I've got IP tables set up on one machine, and the multicasting worked fine with that. But using UFW or GUFW, which the graphical front end for the firewall, the uncomplicated firewall by default seems to block UDP multicast traffic. And what you have to do is either on the command line using a UFW command or using the GUI, which again I found wouldn't actually work on Xmonad, wouldn't open the GUI on Xmonad. It would complain about policy kit and debug, so I had to log into GNOME to set the firewall. What you need to do is open GUFW. You see the bottom left, you'll see the little plus button there. You click the plus button, and then on this next screen here, you go pre-configured, policy allow, direction in, category audio and video, subcategory all, application VLC UDP stream. Click add, and that will fix the issue. So it took me a while to actually figure out why this was working on one machine and not the other, and the reason was that the firewall is blocking the multicast streaming. So that's everything pretty much that I wanted to cover. Again, here's the script. I'll put a link to it under the video. All you got to do is download it. And if you've got a bin directory, if you've got a bin directory in your home, whack it in there. If you don't have a bin directory, just copy the script to user local bin. So just copy the script to use a local bin if you don't have a bin directory, and off you go. Dead simple to use. All you're going to do is run mcyt-i URL, bang, press return. It's going to start streaming. When you want it to stop streaming, just press Q, and it's going to quit it. And then to receive, again, either with MPV, you can stick it in a M3U file, but then you have to run load unsafe playlists, or you can specify it on the command line. Again, easy to remember URL, 239.254.254.4:1234. You can then just play it on any device. Again, you can also use Kodi as I've shown you by creating an strm file, putting the URL in there. So what that means is you could, suppose you've got a computer on your you got your laptop, and maybe you got a TV with Kodi, and then you got another TV with Kodi in another room, and you want to watch the same thing on both TVs in separate rooms. Basically, what you can do is just copy that strm file to both installs of Kodi, start the stream, tune in on both TVs, and it's basically going to play it. And again, it's only going to use bandwidth once. So instead of sending the stream to computer A and computer B, if it's a 1 meg stream and you're sending it to computer A and computer B, that's using 2 meg in the network. Using the multicast, the stream's actually coming over the internet anyway. We're just relaying it, and we're broadcasting it to all the devices on the network. So you're saving bandwidth, and also you're not actually encoding the stream, so you're not re-encoding it. You're not re-encoding it as H.264 AAC and specifying a bitrate and all that stuff. That's already done, so you don't need to worry about that. We're just taking the streams and pinging it off to the multicast, and then tuning in on all devices to our own sort of simple, a TV channel, as it were. And these are all the streams that we can actually, sites that we can actually use. Now, the other issue that I want to cover is how do you you could use something like, I think you might be able to use Task Spooler to actually, just wondering if I can use Task Spooler which is a command that it's an application that allows you to queue up commands to be executed one after another. So my thinking is that you could use it to actually queue up multiple streams. So I'm just going to try. Right, okay, let's see if that works. It might not have worked. I haven't tried this, so the code and save playlist. I'm not sure if this actually. Yeah, it is streaming. Okay, go down save playlist, multicast NPU. Right, okay. Right, that works. So, bear with me a second. Right, okay. So, Task Spooler. At search Task Spooler. Might be called TC or something. I think it. I can't remember what these episodes. I think it might be TSP. Is it TSP? What is it called? Let me just find out what it's called again. Task Spooler is an application, as I said, that allows you to queue up a series of commands to be executed one after another. So what you can actually do is run Task Spooler on the machine actually doing the streamings. You can actually queue up streams to be streamed, as it were. And once the first stream is finished, the second stream will then start streaming. And I actually found out about this from a video by got-blue. Actually, the pronunciation should be "God bless you." Don't know how he got that, but yeah, got-blues is actually "God bless you." So TS. So I don't remember what the accent. Let me just search app search. God, I can't remember what it's actually called in the Ubuntu Task Spooler. Yeah. How to So what's it? I can't remember what the thing is. Okay, Task Dash Spooler. Oh, okay. Right, let's check it. Sorry about that. At search Task Spooler. Yeah, there we go. So that's what you want. And the way that you would use that is you run TSP, then mcyt dash CYT. See, I'm not getting the corrections here. Script name mcyt-i and the URL. You do that, and what's going to happen is it's not going to display any outputs on the command line. Normally, when you're using ffmpeg and you're streaming this, it's going to show you actually streaming it. What Task Spooler does is actually puts the command into the background, so you're not going to see anything in the terminal. And what you will actually be able to do is use this application to queue up multiple streams to be executed one after another. So you say TSP mcyt-i, the URL, bang. What it does is it creates a, if I run TSP, what you see here is it actually shows you, you have an ID like 0, starts with a 0-based index. So 0 is the first one, 1. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to go through and execute the commands one after another. So when the first stream's finished, and then start streaming the second one. As you can see here, it's going to like say state the output, the command that's actually being run. So I can run TSP-C to clear that. On TSP, that actually shows you the list of things that are queued up to be executed. So that's how you can specify multiple streams to be executed one after another using the TSP command. So that's just something else that I thought would be useful, is that you want to be able to stream things one after another. And again, the way this command works is it waits for the command to finish executing, then it moves on to the next command, and so on and so on. So you can basically queue up multiple videos to be streamed. It will stream it. When it's finished, it's going to go on to the next one. So that's how we can use TSP. So TSP mcyt-i URL, and that's going to queue it up. Do that for all the URLs, and it's basically going to go through and execute them one after another. I think I did a video on TSP Task Spooler, running commands one after another, but got Blue's also done one. So just forgot to enter the thing. Okay, go. Got the Septal being in the EU. Right, so got Blue. There we go, there he is. So have a look through here, and he's got some stuff on task spooler. And again, I always pronounce it got bloop because that's how it's spelt, but it's supposed to be God bless you. I honestly don't know how you get from that to that, but there you go. So, or search for task spooler. It should get, okay, there you go. There's his video, task spooler. And this was this guy that got mentioned in DistroTube. Guy Roll van der Paar. Basically what he does is he just spams YouTube with auto-generated videos from Stack Overflow. So don't click that one because it's just clickbait and it's absolutely rubbish. Yeah, see, there's another one, task spooler. And I think I did video on this. Napoleon Wilson. See, I don't get any auto completion love. Oh god, it's not even giving me my flipping. Where am I? Yeah, bastard. Okay, if I just search for Kodi, I usually come up. Kodi or Kodi ffmpeg. There we go, Napoleon. And I've got videos on task spooler somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I've got a couple of videos, so just check there. Yeah, I got a couple of ones in there. So just have a look around there or on YouTube, just not the Roll van der Paar ones. It's dead simple to use task spooler. Have a read of the manual. You can basically queue stuff up to be executed. You can remove jobs from the slot. You know, it's really useful. It's something I use all the time actually. Queue videos up to be executed. So that's task spooler. Again, this is the supported site. So this is all the sites that we are going to be able to multicast stream, and that's basically anything that is supported by yt-dlp. Anything that is supported by yt-dlp, we can multicast video. We could also do audio, but I'll look into that later. But you know, if you wanted to change this to just use audio, all you would need to do, let me just come across to Emacs. So suppose you just wanted this to do audio. Yeah, all you'd need to do is change where it says codec v copy, just change that to vn. So just change that to vn, and what that means is video null or something. Basically, that would only stream the audio. So if you just want to stream the audio, you could just change the codec video copy to -vn under one stream, and again under two streams. But that might cause an issue here. Actually, think about that, because if you might have to remove map 1 as well. But I might look into doing audio as well. But main thing was, you know, getting the video working really with all these sites. So what it allows you to do is basically on your laptop go through any of these sites, any of these hundreds of sites here, grab the URL for something, mcyt-i, put the URL in, then on your TV just open up the stream and you'll be streaming. So what it will allow you to do is actually view all these sites on your big TV just by restreaming the link. We're just taking the link and we're sending it to the multicast address, and then we're just opening the stream. And again, you can, you know, use Kodi with an strm file and just open the stream up, and it will play. And again, we can use task spooler to actually queue up videos to be played. So suppose you've got, you know, several TVs over the house, and people in other rooms, you can basically stream the same thing to them at the same time on different TVs without killing the bandwidth on your local network. And by sending multiple copies of the stream, we're just sending one stream. And again, we are actually not even encoding stuff. As you can see here, we're not even encoding stuff. Taking the URL, copying the audio and video streams, tune zero latency, ping it off to the multicast address, and that's it. You can then tune into the stream. So again, the couple of things that you need to bear in mind are, one, your firewall. So not working, turn off the firewall, check, and it should work. Then re-enable the firewall, and what you'll need to do, depending on the firewall you've actually got, is enable UDP multicast access, and it may look different on different firewalls. So again, this is GUFW. That's how I added it. But if you're using something else, you need to look that up. So that's sort of one issue to bear in mind. Second thing is, all these streams should be H.264 AAC, but if you pick some old video on the internet that's not streamable, then you may run into issues. But that's pretty much everything. Again, you got the strm files for Kodi, so video, Kodi, movies. Here we've got the multicast.strm file, and that's just UDP with the address there. Same thing with the M3U file. And again, remember the trick for playing the M3Us with MPV load and save playlists, and then give it the playlist, and that's just something that happens in MPV. And again, you have a slightly different syntax for VLC. I think the syntax is like this: UDP at 239.254, and so it's slightly different syntax there. So that's all for now. I'll put links to this under the video and the supported sites. And also check out Task Spooler. But basically, all you've got to do, download the script. It will already be executable. Put it in your bin directory or use a local bin. And then all you got to do, mcyt-i and the URL to stream it, and then just open the stream on devices on your network, and it will play. So that's all for now. I was asked by someone actually to add streaming to Pilfer, which I had streaming set up in the Kodi Player Core Factory XML script. I did look at adding multicast Pilfer as well, but for some reason I was having issues getting it to work. So I sort of got sidetracked, and I thought this was more useful because there are ways in Kodi of sending stuff to other machines. But I just thought this might be something that's actually more useful, being able to multicast hundreds of supported sites to all the devices on your network, and also queue them up to be streamed using Task Spooler. So put links to all this under the video, and that's all for now.